Hey everybody, welcome back to Chicago Reacts. My name is Michael. I'm an actor here in the city of Chicago, and I'm joined by the ever-brilliant, the always talented, the one, the only...
Zach, also an actor here in the city of Chicago. We've been recording for a while, can't you tell?
Mm-hmm.
But today...
my scarf on. Let's get I saw you in that in your turtleneck. I went, well, that looks
Here we
warm.
go. We're getting bundled up. We're getting warm as we react to Overwatch versus Team Fortress 2, but explained with food.
Okay.
And this was suggested specifically by Siaza Plays. Just by the title alone.
Yes.
It has me clenched and grabbed by every orifice, and I'm like sucked in. I'm sucked in.
That sounds intimate and graphic and violent all at the same time.
All for you guys. For you guys. You want to give the usual, if you're liking this video, feel free to like the video. And if you love it, feel free to subscribe. There is new content posted each and every day here on the channel. Also, feel free to check us out on Twitch. We finally have established a great Twitch channel in Chicago Plays. And we, Michael and I, are streaming every Monday. Trying to, but for the most part, most Mondays, we're going to be in there from 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we've been playing different games. Michael's been playing The Witcher 3.
Oh, I love The Witcher. It's so good.
Yes. I've been playing some different indie horror games. And we eventually are going to start playing some co-op games too. So tons of fun to be had there. Feel free to join us there. Any of those times and any of the other times that the other reactors are available as well. Yeah,
the link should be in the description down below, and you can check out everyone's schedule so you don't miss anyone. You got Kit, you got Kira, and you got Kelsey.
Everybody. All right, Overwatch versus Team Fortress 2.
Explained with food. This is gonna make me hungry.
I was just about to say, like, I'm
we
at
gotta
that
get
point
our order in, you know.
Yeah, man. I'm at that point where I'm kind of getting. I'm starting to think about food. And,
same.
Oh man.
All right,
here we go.
Let's jack in.
Here we go.
I think Overwatch versus TF2 is like making dessert. Playing Overwatch is like you're baking a gourmet cake. There's 6 of you, you're in a kitchen together, and every chef has one specific cake ingredient that they're adding. The tank puts in the flour. Then the DPSs add the sugar and the eggs and the oil. Then the supports add the baking soda and the chocolate that brings it all together. All 6 chefs here must work in combination to nail this recipe. And if they do, this cake will be one of the best you've ever eaten. That's Overwatch. Team Fortress 2 is like eating a candy bar. Candy bars just taste great on their own. Like, you don't need any other foods to make a Snickers taste good. But okay, let's say you're eating a Snickers and then you see 2 other guys eating TF2 candy bars. And so you say to them, hey, let's team up. Let's merge our candy bars into one super dish. And they're like, yeah. So you throw in your Snickers and that guy throws in Dem M&Ms and he throws in a Meta Cookie and that guy adds Hershey's Weapons Guy, and then...
Wow.
Well, then it just tastes like a big chocolatey mess. But here's the thing, a Snickers by itself
I'm not ashamed
like
to say
a
I would eat
chocolatey mess. So does Hershey syrup. Combining candy bars together doesn't make them taste any better. It's still just a pile of delicious chocolate either way. That's TF2. So why are these games so different? Well, Overwatch characters are fundamentally designed to stay next to each other. If you want the protection from a tank's shield or to be healed by a support, you have to stand next to the tank or the support. It's just like the ingredients of a cake. They are designed to taste better when you mix them together. So if you're Junkrat, you're going to be more powerful by sticking with your team and utilizing their buffs. This is true of ultimates too. They are designed to be far more powerful when you coordinate them with your teammates. So ults primarily serve to reward teamwork. This is what makes Overwatch so satisfying, because if your team works well together, you're rewarded by becoming substantially more powerful, and it's a rush. So teamwork is what makes Overwatch fun, but these super powerful team synergies also mean you have very limited freedom to play this game your own way. You really can't be effective with a solo playstyle in Overwatch because by design, you are far less powerful without your teammates' buffs. This gets worse when the metagame has a clearly defined
that is really true.
In this case, the synergies between specific characters are so strong that you are at a substantial disadvantage if you play anything else. Hey, you guys want to make a red velvet cake today? I love making red velvet. What the fuck? No! Chocolate cake is the only dessert in the meta. I'm reporting you. The second big problem is that because teamwork is so crucial to winning, if you have just 1 or 2 bad teammates, that can ruin the entire game. Like if you were making a cake and your tank carefully adds the flour and then you perfectly add in sugar and then this dude's just eating Han's Oreos. Now the entire cake you were making is gonna taste awful because that guy is refusing to actually do his part of the recipe. And since you get random teammates game to game, it's totally hit or miss of actually having a team that coordinates well and has fun. It's like you're at a restaurant where
that's a really good down point to Overwatch. I don't know. Have you?
I haven't played much Overwatch.
Okay, I've only played a little bit, like back on Xbox One a few years back. And I definitely understand what's being talked about here. It's not that you can't derive enjoyment of the game by playing kind of your own way, so to speak. But the games where I definitely had the most fun were the games where I was teamed up with the most people, where there was the most communication happening, there was the most interaction between teammates happening, and that was like regardless of what class or character I played. So I already am appreciating this video a lot, actually.
Yeah, that's a good way of like this. And I'm not super familiar with Overwatch. This is also like I'm getting just like how Overwatch works. But it makes a lot of sense, because especially as we've been diving into like the TF2 stuff, like even like there are ways you can play with people, but you can also have fun playing certain classes just like on their own.
Right. And the Overwatch characters and classes are built in such a way where even the offensive classes are built with every other class and character in mind.
Yeah.
So even though there are over 20 characters in that game now, like every character, yes, feels extremely unique, but at the same time, every character is built off of this like knowledge base or mountain of other characters as well. Like every character plays off of other, and I never
like in TF2, like your spy isn't with the group. Like specifically, they are behind enemy lines in like.
Right, it's how all of the candy bars work to create your Halloween haul, if you will.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas, yes, I really like the analogy of Overwatch being this dessert or cake that is baked as a result of everybody contributing their own ingredients, and that determines your overall enjoyment of a match.
Yeah, because you can have just a shit team, and
exactly, and then you end up with a cake that's way too oily or has so many chocolate chips you can't even taste the cake, or vice versa.
Yeah.
So it's I think that's a really creative.
Yeah. All right, let's see what else.
Vomiting, but the other half, it's like the best steak you've ever had. But people keep eating Overwatch because, god damn, dude, the rush when your team pulls it all off is just incomparable. Like, every chef on the team just nailed their job, and we made a cake so good it made Jeff Kaplan cry. In TF2, most characters aren't designed to benefit their teammates in any way. Soldier and Demo and Scout, etc. don't have any core moves that benefit their teammates, and so you can run off on your own without being any fundamentally weaker.
Except
and this means your effectiveness as a player
I would
is
say.
only dictated by you, not by your teammates' behaviors. TF2 characters are candy bars. They taste great on their own. They don't need anyone else's flavors. Engineer and Medic are the two obvious exceptions here. They are very much designed to benefit teammates and help you win, but winning the game just isn't really a priority in TF2. People don't really care about the objective itself. It just serves as the dedicated spot where everybody's gonna blow each other up. The game almost discourages you from trying too hard to win by frequently scrambling the teams. Or even if you and 2 other guys are like, hey, you want to team up and defend the objective? Yeah, that sounds fun. Hey, cut that out! Auto balance! So inevitably, the map is full of spies and pyros and snipers roaming around having whatever little adventures pop up, and 90% of the time, you'll never properly coordinate with anyone. Don't get me wrong, teamwork is still really fun in TF2, but unlike Overwatch, it's not the entirety of the game, and instead...
That's another really brilliant point that I just like. So Overwatch is so built upon the game that you are playing.
Yeah.
And so much of the gameplay elements and your enjoyment of the game derive from that objective. no matter what side of the objective you're playing. But so much of what you get out of each individual game depends on how that gameplay is played by your team.
Yeah.
And I don't have
There's
much
stuff in TF2 is just like, let's get people to the same place so they'll shoot each other.
Exactly. And if you win, great. But if not, it's not the end of the world. Yeah. Whereas with Overwatch, you feel that much more. It's really kind of hard to explain, but I feel like this outlines it really, really well.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Incredible freedom to play in whatever style you want. Plus, TF2 maps are usually 12v12 or more, whereas Overwatch is only 6v6. This means that every individual Overwatch player has a larger impact on their team's product, so there's more pressure for you to follow the recipe and not be a dick. There are, of course, exceptions to all of this. Teamwork in TF2 is definitely effective when it's done well, and the competitive modes like Sixes or Highlander are a great example of this, and there's definitely some Overwatch players who do find success by playing separately from their teams. But the underlying design of these games funnels players into a teamwork mentality or a solo mentality, so that 90% of the time in Overwatch you need to stick to the recipe, and 90% of the time in TF2 you're in a Snickers dance party. I think the games mostly differ in how you can customize your experience. For example, customizing each character. In TF2, they treat each character like a fruit. And let's say you taste each one and then you go, man, I love apples. That's my favorite. I want to eat apples all day long. And TF2 goes, all right, well, I'm about to blow your fucking mind because we have different ways to eat apples. We got apple pie and apple sauce and baked apples and apple fritters and tons more. This is how TF2 classes work. There's only 9 classes, but each one has 3 changeable weapon slots with hundreds of possible combinations. So if I love the taste of Demo Banana, I can mix it up and swap in Scottish Resistance and now cover choke points. It's similar, but it's customized. Or now I swap in Sword and Boots and I'm playing Demo Banana. And you're like, this is awesome. They took a food I love, Demo Banana, and they're giving me different ways to cook that core flavor. Whereas Overwatch is like, you guys, we have 29 different fruits and veggies to choose from. And I'm like, oh my God, there are some really genuinely unique options here, like a McCree-cumber or a Reaper Simmon or a Wrecking Bell Pepper. Hey, get out of here. But Overwatch doesn't give you multiple ways to cook each fruit. You're only allowed to eat them raw. So let's say you try them all out and you go, Widow Mango is my favorite fruit. I love this flavor. And you're having a great time eating Widow Mango, but you might say to Overwatch, hey, I love the flavor of Widow Mango. Could you give me some ways to customize my favorite fruit? And Overwatch says, here's a baguette. And you're like, that's cool, man, but I really like Widow Mango. Like, I would love to eat that same flavor, but in different styles. Like, a new way to enjoy the food that I already like. And they're like, here's a durian. Overwatch doesn't let you customize your favorite characters. Instead, they just introduce new characters altogether. This is actually a really great thing if you're a player who wants a large variety in fundamental playstyles. But it also means you might get tired of that hero that you really, really love a lot faster than you might otherwise. Even more broadly, TF2 lets the community customize the maps that you can play. When Valve released TF2, it's like they opened a restaurant and they said, hey, we made a bunch of food and here's our menu of dishes to choose from, but the kitchen's unlocked. Feel free to make whatever else you want. So everybody ran into the kitchen and went nuts. And over time, the community has cooked all sorts of insane new dishes for the TF2 menu. Like one dude went, you guys, I packed 10 scoops of ice cream into one bowl. I call it a 10x crit server. And another guy's like, I took soda and pieces of toast and created jump maps. And you're like, what the fuck? That's actually delicious. And another dude's like, you guys, I took that sandwich and I made it really, really tall. And that's like a real thing that people play. It's called Higher Tower. It's just High Tower, but the tower is really tall.
No way! No freaking way!
And created crazy new genres like jump maps, sax and tail mod,
yes, that's so good.
TF2's restaurant menu to have almost infinite dishes to choose from, and this has drastically increased the game's longevity and enjoyment. But when Overwatch opened their restaurant, they said, here's our menu of food, you can eat these specific things. And over time, they've added new items to the menu like 3v3 or brawls. And these dishes all taste great, but the point is that Overwatch, and only Overwatch, controls the entire menu. And as a result, it's a pretty limited menu. Like if you go in there and you try to order a 12v12 match, they will say, sorry, but 12v12 isn't on our menu. Why don't you try our 6v6? And I'm like, I have, man, and it's great, but I thought it'd be fun to make my own type of meal. And they're like, here's a durian. It's just a big missed opportunity. They don't give the community tools to make unique maps and modes, and this unnecessarily limits the game's menu of options. And it's especially frustrating because Blizzard's older games did do this. Warcraft 3 is legendary because of custom maps. Blizzard made these incredible RTS ingredients and then said, hey, the kitchen door is unlocked, go make whatever you want. And so some frog started a 5v5 eating contest and literally invented Dota. And another dude invented tower defense and hero arenas and a million other iconic games. Warcraft 3 made the ingredients and the community made the menu. And it sucks when you see Overwatch's ingredients, which are so creative and cool, and you just wonder what kind of amazing meals we might be eating if Overwatch just let us play with our food. At this point, I play more TF2, but it just depends on how I'm feeling, right? Like if it's the end of a long day and I want to dick around, play my favorite character, and not worry about teammates, then TF2 is the perfect experience for me. But Overwatch can be fucking awesome. The characters and ultimates are super creative, and if you have a great team, the feeling of working together and accomplishing a plan is one of the best feelings in gaming. Eating a gourmet cake is always going to taste better than eating a Snickers. It just really sucks if your cake has Hanzo in it. Hey, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, subscribing to my channel is like...
I just realized at the end, like, there's a really cool, interesting identity thing with the both of them, too. It's like when you're playing Overwatch with a group of friends, right? Yeah. You are not identified as you. You are identified as the person or character that you play. In Team Fortress 2, you are identified as you, and you might have special versions of yourself. Yeah, go back. And you might be really fucking good at Spy, for example, right? But maybe today you're feeling like trying something new and you're goofing around with Soldier doing rocket jumps all over the map. So I do see where there's value in both, but I also feel like this video in particular was definitely slightly favorable towards Team Fortress 2.
Well, and that was sort of what...
Yeah.
Daniel, who was that video by?
Yeah, we didn't actually get that.
If you don't mind pulling it up real quick. I realized after we did our intro that I didn't see who that was by. By DougDoug.
Oh, it's DougDoug. Oh my God. Okay, yeah, we should have known by the pepper.
I know. I was... Okay, yes. I was like, I know who this is, but I couldn't think of the name. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, DougDoug, that was awesome. Yeah, I think it was really interesting. I love our chaos energy videos that we like to watch. But this was really simplified in a very the metaphor of baking a cake versus chocolate was great. But I think it almost extends further where it's like, if you are looking for a sweet treat, a chocolate, like a candy bar, is ready for you right there. Mm-hmm. But if you really want to create an experience, you can bake a cake and it's going to take longer and it's a more special thing. Right. But it takes more work and it takes usually doing it for when people are coming over,
But see, in that way, I would actually argue the opposite. That experience is more like Team Fortress 2, where you take the time to perfect your character. You build up your spy. You build up your demo man. Your demo man is comprised of the ingredients that you have mastered and makes the perfect dessert for you. Whereas the other game is more of I could play as Roadhog. I know exactly how Roadhog plays, and I'm going to pick up that candy bar and just eat it.
Yeah, but that's that individual experience of again, I haven't played these enough to speak from personal experience, but okay, I'm going to go play a Spy and I'm going to put a bunch of hours into Spy and it's a little less dependent on what my team is versus I'm going to go put a bunch of hours into this character. Well, maybe I should pick a different character because it'll support my team better, or it fits better with the chemistry of my team or whatever. It's always more beneficial to what is the objective? The objective is more important than my personal objective is to put in a ton of hours as this one character. So I don't know. It makes me want to play both so I can speak at it from more experience.
Yeah. But I will say from a casual gamer perspective, I think that Overwatch drew such huge crowds and such huge interest because it does allow the casual gamer to enter into that world and pick a type of class and then find a character that you like. And I would argue that it's actually easier, not necessarily to like master a character, but to get really good, get comfortable with how a character controls in Overwatch versus how one controls and is mastered in Team Fortress 2 because of the customization and I think that that's why we are so hesitant at times to jump into Team Fortress 2 because Michael and I are so far behind and it's like, talk about a game where you can join even a casual match and just feel like a complete noob, feel like a complete asshole. Yeah. I mean, in terms of an experience.
And that makes sense too, like Overwatch, by keeping their menu smaller, keeping with the metaphor, like it does make it easier as a casual gamer. Whereas if you go into TF2 and all of a sudden there's a list of hundreds of different types of game, different modes. Obviously, that comes with mods, and I'm sure it like you have to get into it to like find all that stuff. But again, it's like it's so much more overwhelming. If you look at a menu that is 12 pages long, it's like, what do I get? What am I? Whereas if it's only like a couple entrees.
I almost feel like it's as far as like the character picking, it's almost the opposite. Whereas like the Overwatch menu is super long because you got all these different characters, but every dish is very specific. You know what you're getting every single time. And once you try it once, there's nothing that you can do to it. Whereas the Team Fortress 2 menu has 9 items on it. But every single item has the option for hundreds of different customizations. So not only do you have to order that item once to understand what it is, but then you have to experiment with all the different customizations of that dish to find your ideal...
Build your own pizza.
Right. You build your own pizza. See, we're doing it with different...
We're taking this metaphor way further than it needed to go. Jesus. But we had so much fun. Thank you, DougDoug. That was awesome. And thank you, Siaza Plays, for the suggestion. Let us know in the comment section down below what candy bar you think Zach and I are. Also, if there's any other videos that you want us to check out. What the fuck? I'm just curious.
Shut up, y'all. Enjoy. You
think I'm an Almond Joy? I do like Almond Joys.
I do too. They're so underrated. Yeah. I get why people that don't like coconut don't like them, but I mean, I think they're delicious. I think they're delightful.
Cool. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Go check us out on Chicago Plays. And with that, I think we'll see you next time
on Chicago Red.